What's going on, everybody? In this section, we will be going over top-down analysis. So what is top-down analysis, you may ask? Well, top-down analysis is where we go from the higher time frames where we will formulate a bias and we will go all the way down to as little as the 15 or the 5 minute for execution. So I like to use the daily, the 4 hour, the 1 hour, the 30 minute, the 15 minute, and then the 5 minute for executions. So I will share my screen so that you all are privy to what I am mentioning. So for my example, in this instance, I decided to go back to December 9th. Now, this was before all the craziness that's occurred in the market over the last few months since Trump has taken office. So once again, we see an obvious support and resistance area here, right? And I'll use blue because gold is one of my target colors. Let's see, blue and blue. Awesome. So we see that this is an obvious support and resistance area, albeit 2,500 pips, I believe it is. It's still a support and resistance area because price is not breaking above or below. We're just getting a whole bunch of wicks, right? But then we have a daily candle that closes outside of the range. You see how this is a strong closure above all these candles that could not close above the last. So we see that we have a strong daily candle closure outside of the range, and we see that we have a clean candle to mirror on this higher time frame. Okay, so like I said, I like to look at every time frame and create a story. So you'll see on the 4 hour that we had this wick up and the candle closed bearish. All this is the daily's top wick, right? Does that make sense? Each and every candle just creates a story for the next. So I'll fast forward on the 1 hour because I actually want to get into the time frames that I execute on and really mark up my charts upon. Because the 4 hour and daily is good for direction, but as a scalper, I wouldn't really be operating off of the daily too much. So let's fast forward up until when I would actually be getting to the charts, right? So you have the night, boom, 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 cool. So I'm gonna go back in time a little bit to, let's say, 7 a.m. So it's 7 a.m. I'm at the gym right now, but price is beginning to formulate. Now, you would agree that this candle at 5 and this candle at 6 both closed above the most recent resistance that formulated on the lower time frames. So now we have this candle that closed green, this candle that closed red, creating a resistance, and we finally got a closure above the resistance on the 1 hour time frame. Okay, so we know that our targets are up here, our long targets, right? That we formulated from the daily, but I can't just ignore those lower time frame targets, zones, and everything in between. This right here is a 120, pip range that I can take advantage of, right? So I got a candle to close above here. Now let's see what happens when I finally get to the desk. So let's slow this down so it doesn't take off on me. So this candle is my 7 a.m. candle closure, right? So now we have one, two, three candles that closed above the most recent resistance. Remember, now we're targeting this area. Now, we don't want to let price get too far from us, but we have to figure out a way that we can get in and be a part of this move. So now we've experienced the 7 a.m. candle. So let me go down to the lower time frames because as we are getting closer, I am preparing to be back at the charts. So once again, I'm still not home yet, but I see that this candle closed above the most two recent resistances. This 730 candle came back down to retest this area. And now let's see what happens for 8 a.m. This candle came down and took out the previous 30-minute lows. And you're like, okay, James, is this now my new resistance? Since this 30-minute came down and took out all these lows and now made a new resistance up here, watch what happens on the higher time frames. Let me fast forward one candle. Boom. All this was the down wick on the 1 hour time frame. That's all this was. This candle came and grabbed orders, hit people's stop losses to simply continue up. Stay with me now. This candle came down, broke these lows, likely took a lot of people out. We were never in because we enter either on the break of previous candle highs or break of current candle highs. All the candle did here was come straight down without a top wick. Well, what does that tell me? That tells me when this candle breaks the high of the previous candle during a time of volume, like I like to work off of, during a time of volume, that price should easily fill these clean ranges to the left. I mean, you've closed over everything, multiple times. This candle came down, grabbed orders. This candle came up, broke the high. What happens? Boom. One more. Boom. Straight to targets. Now you say, James, this looks great and all, but where's my stop loss? Well, let me tell you. So you could have either had a stop loss below the 1 hour low, which is about a 1 to 1.5 risk reward, plenty. You could have had it on the entry candle because once again, there's no reason that price should come back down if it's breaking this high. You could even go into the 15-minute and say, okay, where would I have really truly gotten in and where am I willing to put my profits on the line? I think that the most solid stop loss would be below this 15-minute, but man, if you wanted to just be aggressive, you could have had as little as an 11 or a 12 pip stop loss saying, hey, I'm trusting that when this thing breaks this high, it's going to get going. So this is once again just an example of in a buy situation, how you can break down this daily time frame to say, okay, we're in a very bullish uptrend. We finally got a closure above this resistance. The 4 hour is telling me what the 4 hour is telling me. That's perfectly fine. We got a candle, a 4 hour candle to close above on the higher time frames. Let's go to the lower time frames. The 1 hour closed above multiple times. Boom. I can break it down to the 30-minute. I see in this instance how the 30-minute broke the previous 30-minute that didn't have a top wick. All this red candle was my down wick for my 1 hour candle. Because remember, 90% of candles have top and bottom wicks. There are certain instances where if there was no pressure to the upside, once you do break highs, in this example, think about the anatomy of a candle. If this candle didn't do anything but push down, finished like this, what does it just look like it's supposed to do if it breaks this high? I would think go up. So, same case on that 30-minute. Boom. No pressure to the upside. Once it breaks it, it was good to go. You can trail your stop loss here. Boom. And after that, you can leave a runner if that's your cup of tea. I would have been out because I'll take my profits and be done for the day. But I mean, hey, you had another push up. Respected. Once again, remember it respected this resistance that it just closed above. On to the next candle. Respected once again, but you might have hit stops. You might have not. It just depends on your spread. Boom. Once again, respecting. It's respecting. Then this one definitely didn't tap it. I see it. I see the space in between that zone. Boom. Respected once again. I mean, it's a little late in the day for me to still be wanting to trade at 11, especially if I caught my big move already. But hey, once again, I mean, if you're in profits and you just say, hey, I want to let it run, let's see what happens on the next candle. Boom. Respected. Take off. Then you have the next candle. Boom. You have the next candle, clicking through, clicking through. See, I don't like being in right now because price is consolidating a bit. I mean, we're trading futures more times than not, so you have to be out by 4 p.m. anyway. But say you were trading Forex and you're able to hold, hey man, have at it. Put your stop profit under here. Have fun. Have fun. Man, you're still winning. So at this point, you're up. What was that 250 pips? I mean, you can't beat that. Once again, you can't beat that. And that all came from a simple closure above the range and just breaking it down from the higher time frames to the lower time frames.